Okay, I cannot lie. I am disappointed. What I was hoping for was a sort of Man City model to come to the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup with Mikel Arteta, and for him to sort of stamp that culture on the club in terms of silverware by winning the first trophy that there is to be won in any given Premier League season or any given football season. And unfortunately, we're falling at the first hurdle. Really, really not good enough when you consider, I think Brighton actually started well, but when Arsenal go and get that goal and we go 1-0 up, to lose 3-1 is simply not good enough after that. It was a really good goal that we scored. Reece Nelson, who was pick of the players in the first half, did brilliantly, lovely little shimmy deep into the pitch and ate up the yards, played the right ball at the right time to Nketiah, who scored a lovely goal with a brilliantly taken first-time finish. And from that position, you think to yourself, all right, come on, Arsenal, now, even though you're not playing particularly well, build on this. But, it was a tough night for our debutant goalkeeper, Karl Hein. And do you know what, honestly, I'm very confused as to what's going on with the goalkeeper situation because Matt Turner's picked up an injury this season, which has meant that he hasn't got the minutes in the Europa League that you'd expect that he would usually get. So today I was expecting Ramsdale to be on the bench and not Turner. Because I would have thought if Turner's fit, now this is the perfect opportunity to play him. With him being our number 2 at the club, and I forget, we actually paid $7.5 million for him. If he is called upon at any point this season, if Ramsdale gets injured, I don't want Turner to be that cold, not having played any club minutes for so long. Today was the opportunity, play him. Instead, Arteta gave it to Karl Hein, and what a horrible, horrible start to his debut by giving away a penalty. That was a tough pill to take from him, and I was really hoping it would get better for him after that. But unfortunately, when called upon, he wasn't able to pull off any magic. No blame to him at all. I think the goals, they were just very well taken. The second goal was, quite a tidy finish. The third goal slipped underneath him. That's going to happen to goalkeepers, irrespective of their quality and their experience. So, absolutely not pinning this on Hein, but just quite gutted for him because, anyone that's watched me over the years knows that I've got a lot of love for the Hale Enders. In fact, I tweeted Hale End 1, Brighton 0 when we scored our first goal because it was Reece Nelson to Nketiah. So it's never lost on me that importance of getting Hale End graduates into the first team. And then when they are there, I do give them a few more allowances. I give them a bit more time because there's nothing harder in football than jumping from the academy to the first team. So I hope that Arteta and some of the senior players will put an arm around him today, kind of say, don't worry about it, shake it off. It's tough, man. It's tough for a young goalkeeper to kind of have a debut like that. So, Karl Hein, head up. Plenty more to come from you. This is just one game. There'll be hopefully many, many more in which you'll perform heroics. It wasn't to be today. Brighton did the business. And actually, let's give them some credit because they played really well. And they weren't even full strength. I think Leandro Trossard is one of the best players in the league outside the Big Six. And he wasn't even playing today. And they still did the business. Just very, very annoying. What can I say? But look, I cannot be too annoyed. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Firstly, I am of Pakistani origin. And Pakistan got through to the World Cup T20 final today. It cannot be a bad day for me. It cannot be a bad day for me. The Carabao Cup is nothing. And I hate to admit it, but if someone said to me, Mo, I'll give you Pakistan beating New Zealand in the semi-final so you get through to the final of the T20 World Cup, but Arsenal have to lose the third round Carabao Cup game, I would have bitten their hand off. So I cannot be unhappy with how results have gone today for me. On the other hand, more football related, another reason why I can't be annoyed is because this team has been fantastic this season. We sit top of the league. We finished top of our Europa League group. It's been brilliant. We've got the joint best defensive record in the league. We're just doing bits. So there has to be some perspective. I really, really do not expect any fans on any platform to be throwing their toys out the pram today. We have said all season long that when it's not the first team, there's a drop-off in quality. And yes, we did see that again tonight. Maybe that speaks for the need for some signings in January to bridge that gap between first 11 and the rest, because clearly there's a gap and it gets proved time and time again. But it's important to understand that, you know, there's a reason why these players aren't in the first team, and there is that just difference in quality. But it frustrates me, because what I want to see is, I want to see players grasp the opportunity. This is a team that's doing really, really well. You have really, really got to take these opportunities, because when a team's doing this well, you're not going to change it unnecessarily. So when you get these opportunities, I want to see absolute desperation, and I want to see you grasp that opportunity. Now, you'll recall in the Nottingham Forest game, if you watched my match review after that game, that I spoke about Reiss Nelson and Marquinhos. And I said that Reiss Nelson has been at the club for a long time, and I was surprised that he got the nod over Marquinhos, but clearly Reiss Nelson was brilliant that day and he deserved it. Now, if I was Marquinhos, I would have taken that personally. I would have been a bit frustrated that, look, Reiss Nelson's getting picked ahead of me because Marquinhos has done well in the academy, and when called upon in the first team, he's done well as well. So today, for me, was a face-off between Reiss Nelson and Marquinhos. And I thought Marquinhos is going to be really looking to prove himself and stamp his mark on the manager and on the team in his opportunity. But Reiss Nelson was one of our better players, and Marquinhos simply didn't do enough. So, again, this is not me criticising Marquinhos. It's very hard to come in after not playing in the first team for a long time and just smash it. I know that's hard, but that's what Reiss Nelson did against Nottingham Forest. And if you look at Marquinhos and Reiss Nelson, they can both do the same job. So when one of them needs to be called upon right now, Reiss Nelson, for me, has absolutely put himself first in line to be picked by the manager to fulfill a role if needed. So I was a little bit disappointed by Marquinhos there. Lokonga, he wasn't at it today. The ball's bouncing off of him. El Neni, a player that is usually very, very tidy, wasn't as neat and tidy today. That was quite unfortunate. It just didn't work, man. It just did not work. The other really interesting thing that I'd like to know whether you agree with this theory of mine, we have not, so put this in the comments below after you hear me out, right? We have not gone behind in many games in the Premier League this season, right? Because our defence has been brilliant, and we just haven't been in those situations where we're having to chase the game. On the occasions when we have had to chase the game, we looked scrappy. Jesus came on. The instructions were clear. He was saying 4-4-2, but nothing else was clear. Nothing else seemed cohesive. We didn't really seem to have confidence in our style of play and sort of execute it with the patience and the just robotic elegance that we've shown so far this season. We seem to really force it. We seem to overcommit, and it just didn't work. Again, it reminded me, in a sense, of the Man United game, where it was way too easy to play between the lines of our team when we go a goal down. So let me know, do you think that is potentially a weakness of Arsenal's that we haven't seen a lot of this year because of how well we've done? If that is the case, Mikel Arteta needs to ensure that the plan for when we go a goal behind is a lot better than what it is currently, because the players don't seem to be executing anything that looks like a sensible strategy to try and salvage a game. Anyway, look, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go on about it too much. We're out of the cup. Fine. At least Tottenham are as well. But, you know, focus on Arsenal. And it's disappointing, but we've got potentially bigger fish to fry. So be it. Let's just hope now that in the Premier League, when the games follow these League Cup games, we see our rivals drop points and Arsenal take advantage of the rest and go and win games. If we do that consistently, then we can turn around and say maybe it was for the best, even though it's obviously hard to feel that right now. See you tomorrow for the 5 at 5, and up the Arsenal. Don't let this one get you down.